Have you ever had a bad day and felt like your dog just knew something was wrong? Like they looked at you differently, maybe even cuddled up beside you like a furry therapist? It turns out that feeling might not be in your head. Science is uncovering something remarkable. Your dog might actually understand your emotions. Let's dive into the fascinating truth behind what dogs really know about how we feel. Let's start from the beginning. Humans and dogs have lived side by side for thousands of years, at least 14,000, maybe more. In fact, dogs were the first animals humans ever domesticated. We didn't just train dogs to follow us, we evolved together. That bond created something extraordinary, a communication bridge between two different species. It's not just commands like sit or stay. Dogs watch us closely, learning not only our actions, but our moods. And now, researchers have proof that they aren't just reacting randomly. They might actually be decoding our emotions. One of the most mind-blowing discoveries came out of a study at the University of Lincoln in the UK. Scientists showed dogs pairs of images, human faces showing different emotions, like happiness or anger, alongside voice recordings. The voices didn't say words, just emotional tones. Here's the kicker. The dogs consistently matched the happy faces with happy voices, and the angry faces with angry tones. These were strangers, not their owners. Yet they still made the emotional connection. This wasn't training. This was recognition. That means dogs aren't just picking up on your habits, they can detect general human emotion patterns. Across the board. But how do they do it? Turns out, your dog is watching more than your face. They pay attention to everything, your posture, your voice, your scent. That's right, your scent changes when you feel things. When you're stressed, your body releases certain chemicals, like cortisol. And guess who has a nose powerful enough to sniff that out? Your dog. Dogs have up to 300 million olfactory receptors in their noses. That's about 50 times more than we do. They can detect disease, drugs, even time based on smell. So it's no surprise they can smell emotions too. In one experiment, researchers collected sweat samples from humans during moments of happiness and fear. Then, they exposed dogs to the different samples. When dogs smelled the fear sweat, their heart rates rose, they became more alert, and they sought comfort from their owners. When they smelled happy sweat, they were more relaxed, waggy, and social. They're not just reacting to your body language, they're literally smelling your feelings. Now let's talk about the brain. A group of scientists in Hungary trained dogs to sit still in an fMRI machine, a scanner that tracks brain activity. They played recordings of humans laughing, crying, and speaking in neutral tones. The dogs' brains lit up differently depending on the emotion. Even more amazing? The part of their brain that activated, the auditory cortex, is the same part that processes emotions in the human brain. That's not just observation. That's neurological proof. It's like we're wired to understand each other. But here's where it gets really interesting. There's a phenomenon in humans called emotional contagion. It's when we pick up someone else's emotions just by being around them. You see someone yawn, you yawn. You're around someone stressed, you get tense too. Guess what? Dogs experience that too. In one study, researchers found that dogs' heart rates would rise when their owners were stressed, even if the dogs didn't see anything happen. Just being near a worried human was enough to trigger anxiety in the dog. That's not training. That's empathy. Dogs aren't just noticing your emotions, they might be feeling them with you. Still not convinced? Let's go beyond the lab and into real life. There are endless stories of dogs comforting crying children, staying beside grieving owners, or even alerting people before panic attacks. One woman with anxiety shared that her dog started pawing at her leg every time her heart rate spiked, before she even felt the panic attack coming. Later, she got a heart monitor. Her dog was right every time. Another man recovering from surgery said his dog refused to leave his side, eating, sleeping, even whining when nurses came in. The dog was hyper-attentive, calm, and somehow just knew that something fragile was happening. These stories aren't just sweet. They align with everything science is telling us. Dogs tune into our emotional worlds, and they respond with love. But to be clear, not all scientists agree that dogs understand emotions in the way humans do. Some argue that dogs don't really comprehend what sadness is. Instead, they react to patterns. When you cry, your voice changes. Your posture slumps. You stop moving. To a dog, that could signal something unusual, and they may respond out of instinct, not empathy. It's the same reason they react when you put on your shoes. Pattern recognition. So, what's the difference? Understanding emotion might mean knowing why something feels a certain way. Dogs might not have that kind of self-awareness. But responding appropriately, consistently, and comfortingly, that still means something. Dogs don't need to philosophize about emotions to be there when you're hurting. Sometimes showing up is more important than understanding every detail. Let's zoom out for a second. Why does any of this matter? Because when we understand that dogs connect with us emotionally, we begin to see them differently, not as pets, but as partners. If a dog can detect your sadness, pick up on your stress, and mirror your emotions, that opens up a whole new level of relationship. It means they're not just here for playtime or protection. They're here for the hard moments too. And they might be better at helping us than we ever imagined. In fact, emotional support dogs aren't just a trend, they're backed by science. Studies show that people with therapy dogs experience lower blood pressure, reduced cortisol levels, and increased oxytocin, the same hormone released during bonding and love. Just petting a dog can reduce anxiety. So yes, science is clear, dogs affect our emotions. But now it's becoming clear that the relationship works both ways. We affect theirs too. And maybe that's the most beautiful part. We don't speak the same language. We don't share the same biology. And yet somehow, dogs get us. They notice our joy. They sit with our sorrow. They wag, they whine, they nuzzle, they stay. Not because we told them to, but because they feel something. Maybe not in the exact way we do, but in a way that's real and deep and genuine. And that's enough. So, do dogs understand emotions? Science says, yes. Not in words, not in thoughts, but in ways that matter. They read our faces. They sense our stress. They match our moods. They comfort. They protect. They connect. Maybe they don't understand emotions like we do, but they understand us. And honestly, that might be even better. Have you ever felt like your dog knew exactly what you were going through? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And if you enjoyed this dive into canine emotion, hit that like button, subscribe for more untold animal facts, and give your pup a little extra love today. They've earned it.